Hello and welcome people of the internet to another draft analysis video. We're going to be going over my roster for the RBL, the Rhyacoustics Battle League. This is a VGC doubles league. Some of you may have already seen the first battle because I did live stream it. I'm thinking I might try to live stream all of them. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find out. So quickly going over the full roster here. We'll go back over this again at the end. It'll be minimized down by here, so I can call upon it if we ever need it. All of their base stat totals are going to be on the screen. I was last in the order to pick my Pokemon, so you'll be seeing my Pokemon picks 2 at a time, because that was how I was drafting them. As you can see, we have 10 Pokemon total on the teams, as opposed to the usual 11. Of which we will bring 6 into the battle. They will be best of 3 battles with 4 versus 4 as per usual VGC rules, and we'll be allowed to change which 4 we bring for, between each round. However, they have to be from the full 6 that we bring into the battle. So real quickly, what we're looking at right now, what you're looking at right now is the speed tiers of my team. The team in order of how fast they are. Well, you're seeing them in order of the tiers on this screen. I do have other graphics of their speed tiers in the order of the speed. However, as you can see, our tier 1 pick is Amoonguss, as well as Celesteela is also a tier 1 pick, but you're seeing points of 200 because this was from my free picks where you spend your points, which you would normally have 400 points. The G-Max up here is worth plus 40 points, which means I get points from drafting it. However, we are only allowed to draft a single G-Max. So you see that I use my G-Max on Gengar. Why did I choose Gengar? You'll see that Politoed is also on my team. And we also have access to Ludicolo, which I don't think gets Parasong in this game. But mostly for Politoed. Politoed plus Gengar, they both get Parasong. Gengar's G-Max traps the opponent in. And the Politoed gives me Rain, which also works with the Ludicolo to give it Swift Swim. You'll also see we've got Raichu and Amoonguss. Amoonguss being Redirection, Raichu redirecting Electric specifically, which helps protect my Politoed. You'll also see that we've got other synergies on the team, which we will go over. Politoed synergizes with X-Cloud in a similar way to how it synergizes with Gengar. Gengar traps the opponent Pokemon in, while X-Cloud is immune to Parasong thanks to Soundproof. So these are just some of the synergies that you will see as the time goes on. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to minimize this and then call back on it later on, after we've gone over what order I picked my Pokemon in and why. Okay, so plain and simple, I saw Amoonguss' leftover at the end of round 1, snapped it up straight away, was like, this is good on most teams, I want that redirection, I want that Spore, I want that Regenerator, this is good, I'm going to take it before anyone else does. I knew that someone else would have taken it very shortly after because no one's going to leave the tier 1 pick that good on the roster longer than 1 round. Someone might have been hoping that it would wheel back to them. I was not going to let that happen. Its base stats of HP 114, defense 70, special defense 80. Its special attack of 85 may come in. I may go on the offensive bit, but primarily the 3 stats you are looking at here is HP, defense, and special defense. Special attack can also come in handy with the fact that it does get recovery moves such as Giga Drain. However, more often than not, you go full supportive with Amoonguss, and that is what we have it for. Next, we have the Politoed. What does Politoed do? It sets up Rain. What else does Politoed do? It uses Parasong. What are its stats like? HP 90, defense 75, special defense 100. Special attack of 90 is not to be forgotten. This thing gets useful moves such as Ice Beam. I believe it gets Hydro Pump. You're more often going to see Scold on this thing. It's, again, similar to Amoonguss, it is a support Pokemon. It does also get moves such as Helping Hand, which can come in handy. And it also gets Protect, which you're going to see a lot. You will see a lot. Its speed stat of 70 is not the worst speed stat in the world. I have seen better. I have seen worse. Speed stat of 30, you will probably see worse than speed stat of 70 on this as time goes on. Speed stat of 30 on Amoonguss, it means it gets to go really late on, which can come in handy. So moving on, we have Ludicolo and Raichu. Now, I briefly mentioned Raichu at the start of this when we were going over speed tiers. Raichu gets Lightning Rod. It redirects electric type attacks to itself, which protects Rain Mode. However, Raichu does not only give an electric immunity and redirection. Raichu gets a move called Speed Swap, which if we pull this graphic back up, you'll see that we do have considerably slow Pokemon such as Exploud and Drampa and Celesteela. All three of these are very offensive Pokemon that get good benefits from becoming fast. So we have Raichu for more than just Rain Mode. Raichu gives us access to an entirely other mode known as Turbo Mode. You may recognize that name from the team name Turbolax if you are a fan of the VGC community for a while. And Turbolax is usually used with Snorlax and is a method used by clicking Belly Drum or some sort of attack boosting move on Snorlax on turn 1 while your fast Pokemon clicks Speed Swap or some way of gifting Snorlax immense levels of speed. You may have seen me do it in the past in the only other Gmax draft league that I have been in, where I actually was using Trick Room in conjunction with Snorlax and using its Gmax form to recover berries. So those are some of the key aspects that Raichu does grant. Raichu also grants me access to Helping Hand and Speed Control, which if I can't get Rain up can be extremely helpful. Moving on, we picked up Celesteela because I've noticed that a tier 1 Celesteela was still on the tables at pick number 5. The end of round 5, Celesteela is still on the table. I'm like, I'm taking this. This gives me a second Pokemon. What do I mean by second Pokemon? I already had my eyes on an initial Pokemon that was going to be used with Raichu. And then I saw Celesteela was still on the table. I was like, I need to take this now. We also this round took Gmax Gengar. We were starting to get a bit concerned that Gmax Gengar was not going to be available by the time it came round to me again. And we wanted to make sure we got all of our important picks out of the way early. So we took Gmax Gengar now. I didn't want to be at the taking from the bottom of the barrel Gmax picks. So I kind of just waited. And I might have waited a bit too long. But I lucked out that no one else took the Gengar. You'll see that the base stats do work nicely on these Pokemon. Celesteela being quite bulky allows it to take a hit while I'm setting up my Speed Swap, while Gmax Gengar is able to not so much take a hit in its base form, but when you actually Gmax it, you can take a decent hit, which would allow you to set up max oozes, as well as being able to set up the Ghost type move in order to trap the opponents in after a Perish Song, and possibly live the 2 required turns to make sure that they go down on the 3rd turn when they kill the Gengar. Having a special attacks of 130 means that they might even die before they end up lasting those 3 turns. However, don't forget that Gmaxes do get access to an impenetrable barrier known as Max Protection? Max Guard? Max Guard, that's the one. Gmax Gengar is also tied with Raichu for the fastest Pokemon on my team. As you can see on this graphic, base speed 110, Raichu also base speed of 110. Now, what does that mean for this in particular? Normally, Raichu prefers being paired with very slow Pokemon. However, Raichu can pass its speed stat onto Gengar, keeping a base 110 speed stat, which actually, if we pull up this graphic here, and I'll keep it up for a few moments while I talk you through this. So, as you can see, at the minimum, Gengar has a 130, without negative nature, 130 speed. Now, bear in mind, its speed stat at 252 is 162. So, what I could do is, I could have a 0 IV Gengar with base 130, or even a 31 IV Gengar. Let's just say 31 IV Gengar. And I can pass the speed from my max speed Raichu onto the Gmax Gengar. So I could pass that maximum 178 onto Gengar, meaning I just gained a total of 252 and a second beneficial nature. Theoretically. Just until it switches out. But that means I can use all of the EVs that we would normally have to put into speed and put them into other Pokemon. These Pokemon down here, the Celesteela and the Drampa, they don't have to be the fastest things in the world. They don't have to be as fast as Gengar. But they can be as fast as an uninvested Gengar. Which already gives them, in Drampa's case, an extra 60, 70, 74. An extra 74 base speed. Which can sometimes be enough. Okay, moving on. Next we have Drampa and Exploud. Two normal types. Normally you wouldn't want to double up on a fighting type weakness, especially not in the same round. But these normal types serve very different roles in very different teams. As you can see, within my team, I have about 2 or 3 different plans. And these two don't overlap in the slightest. The most they overlap is they probably both come on the same team with a Raichu. Explode because it would pair with Raichu and the Politoed and probably Gengar. I don't know. The 4th slot is pretty flexible. But Explode will be on a team with Raichu where Raichu is protecting the Politoed. While Drampa would be on a team with Raichu where Raichu is passing its speed onto it. Very different speeds. Very different roles. Explode probably also gains from Raichu passing speed onto it. It could be physical, special. Explode plays many different roles. It's a very versatile Pokemon, and I think it's going to be playing really well on my team. And Drampa, what can we say? Let's see. Base 91 special defense, base 85 defense, base 78 HP, base 135 special attack. The only 2 types it does not get coverage for is it doesn't get a bug type move, it doesn't get a poison type move. Other than that, it gets every other type. Every single other type. Even Fairy. But its only Fairy move is a physical one. However, with base 60 physical attack and the fact that I could Dynamax this thing, that might be enough. And moving on to the final 2 picks, bottom of the barrels. These are our tier 4 and tier 5 picks, Growlithe and Morgrem. Morgrem being screen steady, you've seen me use it before. It's okay. Not the best, not the worst. Growlithe, I've never used a Growlithe before. I don't even know where I'm beginning with this thing, but it is an Intimidate user. I don't know too much about using Growlithe, so I can't say too much. However, it is an Intimidate user. It is somehow not the slowest thing on the team. Its defensive stats are not the worst. They're quite similar to Morgrim's. Morgrim's slightly better stats, but then it is a middle stage evolution. Morgrim does get access to, I believe, nasty plots. So there are maybe some things I can do with that. Growlithe gets Intimidate, and I think maybe U-turn. I don't know. Don't know too much about Growlithe, but we'll see what we can do with it. I honestly don't know what this team's going to do, but I'm making my return to VGC. It's been a while, and I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen. So, going back to this, as you can see, we do not have any removal because Divog was on Drampa in Gen 7 and not Gen 8. And we have no hazard setters. Not a problem. We're not looking to set up hazards anyway. Hazards are not as important in VGC as they are in singles. Removal, defog, is important, but again, not as important. It's important because it gets rid of screens and it gets rid of the terrain. But other than that, it's not overly important. I do have terrain removal on Celesteela, so that's fine. I have Brick Break on things like Raichu, so that's fine. So we do have access to these, the ability to do these things in other ways. Just not on a defog. Anyway, that is everything from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there should be a video coming out tomorrow and the day after. Not sure about Monday. But until next time, remember, take care and be kind.